Here now. Here it is. The first podcast. Dude, your camera looks great, by the way. Are you just using your MacBook camera?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, it looks great.
you
Quality.
look great.
Thank you.
Let's do a
Uh,
gratitude, man. Just let's start with a gratitude thing.
I love it. I love it. I'm grateful for this podcast that we're having right now, this moment with you.
Thank you.
I'm grateful for all of the equipment that we're able to use with all this. Very
Yeah.
blessed to have such quality equipment.
Across the planet.
Across, yeah, literally across
Boom.
the freaking planet. That's amazing. Um, I'm grateful for the run that I just had in nature. It's a mixture of street run and trail run, about 4.2 miles. That was really nice. And I'm grateful for you, my friend. I'm grateful to have you in my life.
Yes, bro. That's what I'm most grateful for today. That's what I was thinking for. We are so blessed. I'm blessed for this connection. Thank you for you as my friend, my friend. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's beautiful. Beautiful end of the day for me and start for you.
Yeah, yeah, it is, huh? So
Yeah.
true. So
It's
true.
dark. Everything is
Um,
there's
So
some
we've got lots of things that we could talk about.
yeah, always.
Let's talk about let's just talk about what we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about yesterday? We were
So
talking about patterns, limiting patterns, and um, you know, creating meaning versus um, enjoying the moment.
yes.
You sent me a video that quoted Alan Watts and Viktor Frankl, and in the video it said that people who struggle to feel joy and happiness in the moment will seek meaning in order to create that sensation of happiness and joy in the moment because they're having a hard time experiencing it now. Or vice versa, people who are easily able to experience it now in the moment, the meaning that they have for life or whatever is easy and simple. So, what does this tell us? It tells us that the meaning that we give to experience or life um, influences the experience that we have. So, for example, if I well, first and foremost, we have to acknowledge that life inherently has no meaning except the meaning that we give it. Albert Camus talks about this. He's a French philosopher. He talks about absurdism, and he says that people who seek meaning, um, it's basically a form of absurdity. It's absurd to seek meaning and give meaning to things that don't have inherent meaning, which is life itself. And he subscribes to the idea or the philosophy of just simply being without the need for meaning, and that will free you from the struggle of life. He wrote a book called "The Myth of Sisyphus," talking about that Greek guy. I think it was a Greek story of that guy who's pushing up the boulder. You know what I'm talking about? He's like he was cursed with perpetual pushing this boulder up a hill, and then the boulder rolls down over and over again. He was cursed to do that his entire life. Um, anyway, he says that um, Sisyphus or whoever it was that got cursed with that, in order to enjoy his experience, he had to create meaning. And even though there's inherently no meaning in existence, it means whatever you want. Personally, I think that we can knowing this consciously is actually a gift and a tool that we can leverage, kind of like what Alan Watts and Viktor Frankl were alluding to, is The meaning you give influences the experience you have. So if we have this power to create meaning, then we might as well create a meaning that is simple, easy, and helps us to generate a feeling of happiness and joy in any given moment.
Like every experience contributes to consciousness expansion.
Mm-hmm. Easy, right?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle you cannot fail.
Exactly. You cannot fail. And that kind of ties into this idea of purpose. You know, some people say that purpose is something that is given to you by God. You know, some sort of like divine thing, which suggests an overwhelming power that's in control of everything. And if anyone is to subscribe to that, then no one can say with certainty what their true purpose is, because how can we say what God wants for us, right? We can play and toy with that idea, but at the end of the day, we can't say, "Oh, my purpose is to create a nonprofit," or "My purpose is to be a teacher," or whatever, right? If we end up doing things that we're passionate about, great, that's wonderful. And so I think sometimes people get stuck in this idea of trying to discover their own purpose. And I play with this a little bit myself, but at the end of the day, I can only say one thing that is absolutely true about purpose, and that is to exist in this moment right now because it's happening. So that tells me that if we're all living our purpose each and every day, that means nobody is living a purposeless life. Even the alcoholic, drug addict, homeless person that's freaking dying in the streets with a needle in their arm, they're living a purposeful life because they exist. And I think this is important because if we kind of going back into what Alan Watts and Viktor Frankl were saying, if we're constantly seeking this meaning of life, this purpose of life, then we're missing out on this beautiful moment right now. We're missing out on the truth that we are currently living our purpose, all of us. Now, the drug addict alcoholic who's dying in the street with a needle in their arm might have a hard time biting that, but that is true because it is happening.
So if you want to make this practical for somebody who would listen to us talking right now, I think we talked about yeah, as you said yesterday, the um the well, my solution was what comes up first in my mind is that I showed you a video and and there was a lot of philosophic philosophical philosoph
Philosophizing?
no, like
Oh,
the
philosophical?
philosophical, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Philosophical messages in there, but in the end, I told you, man, you have the short solution, and it's 4 words. Um, Connect to your heart, and
Yes.
I think that for me is always the thing. What I learned from you is the quickest way to make this practical. You know, to in every situation in a human experience, right? So I would kind of suggest that we at some point today make an infinity breath again, like maybe a short, intense one, maybe not like 3 total rounds. I don't know. Something that is practical for someone who would listen and wants to be inspired and empowered to bring out their own gift and potential every day or in every situation or to deal with whatever circumstance they deal with right now, you know, and that they have like also a quick practical solution, you know,
Hmm.
for everything.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I'm glad that you brought that up because you're so right on that. All of this like philosophizing and stuff is is fun and it's great and everything, but at the end of the day, how can we how can anyone make this true for themselves? Whether or not the words mean anything to them, because again, we all have the choice to attach meaning to something. What is true for every single person, physically, spiritually, mentally? What is true? Your heart beats for you no matter what you do, no matter what you don't do. It is love, unconditional love, manifested physically. It will beat for you until it dies. So, if we want to connect with truth, which is unconditional love, we connect with our heart. And that's really the answer to all problems. All perceived problems. Really there's no problems. But
There is no problems. I heard this today too. There's Peter Crown said that actually in a video I was watching like randomly today. Love this guy. He said um there's actually there's no problematic circumstances. It is the perception of the circumstances, right? Which
yes.
is the problem for people.
Yeah. Yeah. The perception of it is the problem,
Yeah.
not the thing itself.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
everything leads to consciousness expansion.
Yes.
And that's what we're here for.
Yes, exactly.
I
That's
love
it.
that you just brought that up with the problems because I just heard this today and I feel like every time we talk, I feel like it helps reflect all the learnings I had every day. Crazy.
Synchronicities.
Yeah. There was another
Hmm.
one today. I'm sure we will hit on that one too.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's funny. So like my model for a lot of this stuff is the Buddhist monks. Especially the Buddhist, well, there's that story of the Buddhist monk in Vietnam in the 60s that set himself on fire. That's a model for me. Um uh there are these monks, I forget what it's called, but they consciously die, they consciously leave their body, and their body stays preserved for weeks. All of this is documented, but these are my models for consciousness expansion. Talking about meaning, talking about perception of problems. It's pretty objective that if you're on fire, that's a problem. If I'm on fire, I'm going to be running around screaming and wailing, rolling in the ground trying to get off of fire. But this guy, dude, this guy in Vietnam set himself on fire and didn't move, didn't do anything. He was completely and utterly present with that experience. He died, but he didn't respond or react in a way that you would assume a human being would react if they were on fire. What does that tell me? That tells me that our perception of reality, our experience of reality, is completely dependent on our personal perception, on our meaning we give it, on our receptivity to it. There's so many layers to it.
So
You know?
how would you like in a concrete example, like I heard something today, now again you hit something again. I was listening to a conversation from two very insightful people and the one was telling a story from somebody who told him a story and he was like he told me, oh, I paid like thousands of dollars for a vacation and we did this and that and then he went on for 30, 40 minutes just telling on everything he experienced, not like experienced, like everything he saw on his trip. And then in the end, he asked him, uh, so what did you experience standing in front of this holy temple or whatever, you know? And he was like, well, it was beautiful. but that's all he could like explain. Like he was not in the moment seeing the light and feeling his body and having the experience. Like he was just basically ticking it off his what is it called, bucket list. um and I heard about a study that ticking off your bucket list does not make you happier. It's like a proven study. Like it actually does the opposite, or not the opposite, but has no positive influence for you, for your well-being. And that kind of tells me, like that is just an example for what you were just talking about. Like how can this person that buys a lot pays a lot of money for going on a vacation, and then he stands in front of this I don't know, temple of Apollo or something in Greece, something spectacular, and how can he in that moment actually make the most out of it as a human being, and not just take a picture and leave, and then, you know, like what would you do to make this a real experience? How can you make
Piercing presence. Piercing presence. That is the way to make any experience more enjoyable. Take it all in. Feel it. Feel yourself feeling it. Like you were saying, like letting the light come in, or the sounds, or what, or the smells, or whatever stimulus, right? Whatever's like, feel yourself feeling that. Like if people go to a place thinking that the place is going to make them feel something, well, that's the wrong that well, wrong. That is a different That is a limiting mindset, because it's not necessarily just the place that they're going to, it's their willingness to experience it fully in the moment. How willing am I to step fully into my body, head to toe, feel my body feeling the stimulus, whether it's light, sound, taste, smell, physical touch of whatever it is. Joe Dispenza does that in his meditations when he's doing an induction, when he's trying to help someone get deeper into the experience. He talks about feeling your body, like imagine the room filling up with water, and as the water rises up your body, you feel it rising up your body, and now you're fully enveloped in the water. That's an induction. It helps you to get into your body and feel deeper, be more present with your experience fully. And so a person that's going there just to take pictures, they're in their head. They're in the picture. They're not present with the experience.
another example? He said like he lives right on the forest, and he sees always the runners coming in and out of the forest, and every time they come out of the forest, first thing they do, what do they do?
Look around. I don't
Yeah,
know.
look on their wrist and
Uh,
look, did I beat my time from yesterday? You know, like they
hmm.
are not running through the forest, feeling the forest, seeing the animals, seeing the light coming through the forest leaves, and experiencing it as a human being, and being one with nature, whatever, like, or just being there with their body and their mind. But they are they are looking at their watch. They are distracted. They are on autopilot.
Well, I mean, those people are probably, if they're like actively, if they really want to, if they have a goal, which is to, race or beat a time, they're present with that experience. You can have multiple experiences within an experience. Like
Yes.
those monks, they are experiencing, in my mind. I mean, I don't know, I can't speak for them, but I feel like they're having multiple experiences at the same time, which expands upon their experience. For example, I could focus on my hand, right? And I could take my finger and put it in the palm of my hand, right? I could feel that. I can experience that specific sensation, right? But mind you, I'm also experiencing so many other things. My butt in the chair, the light hitting my eyes, what the sound of the cars outside, whatever, right? And so I'm having multiple experiences, but in this in these multiple experiences, I'm more aware of other things than I am, certain things. Like I'm more aware of my hand right now because that's where I'm putting focusing my attention, right? So like the more we broaden, the more we widen our awareness, the deeper the experience we have of the total experiences that we're having in the moment. Like those monks that are on fire, I don't feel like he's just experiencing being on fire. I feel like he's experiencing the ground underneath his butt, the sounds of the people around him, the wind, the whatever, the hairs on his body being singed off. I don't know. I feel like they're experiencing the totality of experience itself. Um, Again, I am not to that level, but I can only fantasize about what the heck they're experiencing. I've had profound meditations and breath works where I feel like my body's expanding and filling up the room or filling up the house or wherever I am, filling up the space around me. Like it's difficult for me sometimes to discern where my body ends or begins. And so I feel like to have a total experience, being present with that and with what's going on internally and externally and merging them.
Finally, finally, I was like waiting to throw these words in external, internal. Like that's the key point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
we did talk about that yesterday a little bit.
yeah, and what you were saying earlier is like if you're like traveling for a lot of money to a certain place in the world on the planet, and you are searching for a feeling or something that something gives you. We were talking about this before that you can theoretically give this to yourself and detach
Yeah.
yourself from searching it in the external.
Yes, you can if you want. And
It's
neither direction is like better or worse or whatever. Just depends. Like okay, so my friend was talking to me recently, and he was talking about how this person at work was bugging him, and this was a superior at work, and he was complaining, and I was like, so is there anything that you can do to shift this person's behavior? Are you in control of this person's behavior? External. He's having an internal experience, and he's saying he's having this internal experience because of the external, which can happen if we let it, right? If we allow that external to control us, sure. But at the end of the day, it's our decision that allows that external to control us. And I was asking him, I'm like, is there anything you can do to shift that person's behavior? Well, the answer, no. At the end of the day, no, because they're in control of that. And so then I was like, all right, so then what are you doing to contribute to this external environment in a way that is influencing his behavior? I mean, what are you bringing to the environment? What state are you bringing? And he reflected on that and was like, okay, well, yeah, I guess I could, you know, do things differently because he had already admitted the fact that he was bringing an I don't care energy into the environment. And so that affects your environment and affects other people, just like how other people affect our environment and our external environment and then our internal environment. At the end of the day, we could be like the fucking monk and not let the flames control our internal environment, or we can surrender to the flames and let them engulf us and run around with like crazy, right? Either way, it doesn't fucking matter. We are in control of one thing, and that is our internal environment. That's it. And so we can influence the external, we cannot control the external. Unless you're like a super awesome monk and you can just manifest reality. Man, there's this really cool book by Walter Russell. Well, there's lots of books by Walter Russell, but anyway, I can't remember the name of it. And he talks about light, uh, how we're living in a hologram, and everything that we see, matter, material, is simply light slowed down. And as light slows down, it it forms into matter, different types of matter. All of this is way above my head, but I find it fascinating. And so if we are consciousness, light consciousness manifesting itself into these physical forms, you know, which means that we are in control of reality, then technically we could, make something float or create something out of nothing or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. That's above my head. But I do think it's cool. I mean, think about it. Think about it. All I gotta do is focus my attention internally, right? In my brain, right? All I gotta do is focus attention in a specific direction in my brain, and neurons literally move. Electricity fires along neurons near other neurons, and then they move and connect. That's technically moving matter. That's moving energy physically with thought or focused attention. That's fucking interesting. Because then it's like, all right, if if electricity moving along neurons creates an experience, let's say thought, then something before that moves the energy in that direction. And the thing that moves that energy in that direction is what we are, consciousness. That's what we are. We are the observer, not the subject. However, the subject is a projection of the observer. So cool. So technically, we're all moving matter in our brains all the time.
Yeah. You know what? I gotta admit something, but it's at the same time it is a compliment. You are so freaking attuned and aligned, like the last months, the last weeks that I've been observing you, seeing you, experiencing you. Um, kind of, I kind of have the urge inside of me to challenge you, that to get you out of alignment. I
Do
don't
it.
know,
Do
like
it.
I don't know how. I seriously I don't know how anymore. Like,
Well, you're great at challenging. You challenge me all the time.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah, but I'm losing my what is it? My ammo. Can you say that?
Yeah.
Um, you are you are becoming more authentic every day, more conscious, more reflected. It's crazy.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
And what do? You just connect to your heart every day.
Yep. Connecting my heart every day. Deep breathing. Practice presence. Come back into the body. If I notice I get in my head in a conversation, I just take a deep belly breath and soften my eyes. Presence with whatever is going on.
Crazy. The thing is that it's scary that, like, I kind of have the feeling like if you want to make a podcast and if you want to record something and have like a specific intention to reach a certain person or spread a message or something, you gotta think about the tonality and the way you want to deliver a message or something. And you should not like preach and teach, but you should rather like share and state like opinions and stuff. But that doesn't count for you, like, because you are just being your authentic self, and you are just with pure intention sharing your gift and your yeah, yourself. whatever that is, the self. We talked about that a lot. By the way, look at this book.
The Mastery of Self. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's a good book.
dude, there's
I've heard good things.
so much good stuff in there. But you know what? Like, I don't think it's just me, but it doesn't get boring listening to what you share with your experience. It is so um, eye-opening and inspiring. Like, I just want to make it practical. Like, I imagine that some people could like it could be too ahead and what you just said over your head, and I'm surprised that there's still things over your head because it doesn't seem like it. But because how can you be even more attuned and aligned like as a human being? Like uh, yeah, the next step is like enlightenment almost. But because I want to make it available for everyone, in every step of consciousness, in every level of consciousness. And there's obviously some people that are on different consciousness levels. And how can you like make this practical and bring it to everyone? Is it just as easy, and you can just say the only thing you have to do is connect to your heart? But for some people, and I heard it today, is like it's so hard to some people call it boredom, some people call it silence, some people, yeah, whatever. But they were talking about boredom today, and that's what the one guy said when I heard it, and the other one called it a different thing. But you know what I'm talking about? Like some people, if they just sit like 10 minutes in silence, can you imagine that some people would feel like some boredom? Like, damn, I need
Yeah.
some, I need some crazy hormones or some entertainment, whatever, especially in this now in this time nowadays.
Yes, 100%. And by the way, I just want to say that I'm resonating so much with what you're saying right now because that has been my mission. I share a similar mission in making this easy, easy for people. Ideally, people wouldn't have to read hundreds of books or go to seminars or spend any money. It should be free, and it is free. However, um,
What is free?
connecting with your heart, expanding consciousness, um, generating and feeling the feelings that people want. Um, and there's so many layers to this process that that seem difficult. At the end of the day, any change in experience is simply rearranging of neurons. And the longer certain neurons have been connected, the more difficult it is to physically separate them and make new neural connections. So, like these stories that we all have, trauma that we've experienced, boredom, I'm bored with X, Y, and Z, or addiction, depression, anxiety, all of that is simply a specific arrangement of neurons in that person's brain that have been aligned that way for a long time. They are they are connected hard. And in order to rearrange them, you have to send electricity down different neurons, pull these ones apart, and form in new directions. That's where focused attention comes from. That's where awareness comes from. You focus your awareness in a specific direction, or you expand your awareness in all directions.
Okay, what you were talking about in the beginning, like there's two kinds of people in this one theory, the from Frankel, I think it was, uh, that there's people in this nowadays in this time that are distracting themselves with finding meaning, and then there's this people that are distracting themselves with avoiding the void inside. And I wanna I wanna challenge you to make it so simple to to pick up the people that are avoiding the void, and they come home from a 9 to 5 job, sit on the couch and do doom scrolling and Netflix and probably have another screen, like three screens, Like how they don't even know that they have boredom or are distracting themselves. They don't even notice it consciously. Like,
Hmm. Yes, great. Okay, great challenge. Are you ready? Are you ready for the secret? The one thing that's going to make this super easy for all of people who are watching this. Are you ready? Here it is.
yes, Santa.
Smile. Put on a smile. Have fun. When you are about to go into a meditation, or let's just say a heart coherence, smile. That's it.
You
Smile.
you also do
And when you
smile.
do this, right? When you do smile, go into a heart coherence breath. Connect with your heart for 60 seconds. 30 seconds.
Let's do
Do
it right
that.
now. Let's do it right
All right,
now.
ready? Ready? We'll do five. We'll do five breaths. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. When we do it, we're gonna breathe down, expand down into the belly, feel the blood flow down into the pelvic floor. All right. And then when you exhale, exhale fully, everything, all the air in your lungs. Do it 5 times and feel your heartbeat when you're doing it.
Let's do a test breath. Show me one
All
time so
right,
I
I'll show you one test breath. Ready?
do another one.
Yummy.
He's so addicted. He's so addicted.
Oh, that's great. That feels so good. I feel 10 times better than I did 60 seconds ago.
What do you feel?
I feel more connected with my body. I feel like laughy and jokey and light and more blood flow through my body. Also, another thing too is leveraging pleasure. Oh, crazy. Oh, you want to make this fun? You want to make this really enjoyable? Make it pleasurable. When you are breathing down into your pelvic floor and sending blood down into your pelvic floor, you are sending blood and warmth into your genitals And that feels good. This is called tantra. This is called moving life energy or tantric energy up and down the body. That feels good. Imagine this. Imagine this. Imagine simply feeling existence, simply feeling your body being pleasurable. Like imagine this, like just touching yourself like this, feeling yourself. Imagine that feeling good, right? What a crazy concept. What if existence itself vibrating was actually pleasurable? Then sitting with yourself would actually be something you look forward to. That's the goal, right? For anyone, ideally, that would be the goal, to actually enjoy sitting with yourself in silence, connecting with the void, which is where all wisdom and knowledge resides, by the way. All thought, all ideas, all action that manifests itself comes from nothingness, comes from the void. So if you really want to grow and learn quickly, sit with yourself in silence, and you'll get downloads. Anyway, I digress. Ideally, sitting with oneself would be something that we look forward to and is pleasurable. My recommendation, talking about going back to your question, how do we make this as easy and accessible as possible for anyone? My recommendation is do it the moment you wake up. Before you even get out of bed, don't even get up. Before you even get out of bed, do some infinity breath, however much you want, ideally at least one round of 10 breaths, but 3 rounds of 10 is really going to get you going. And feel that pleasure undulate through your body. And if you really want to make it even more pleasurable, arch your back when you're doing it. That is going to really move some energy up and down your body. And feel your legs. Don't stimulate yourself sexually. I mean, you can if you want to, but I mean, ideally you wouldn't need to do that to feel pleasure. Because existence itself is pleasurable. Simply vibrating. That's it. We want to tune into that. So if you put on a light little smile, do some infinity breath down into the pelvic floor, completely empty the diaphragm, and after you do your rounds of breath work, just sit and enjoy. Feel your heartbeat beating in your chest, and then feel that echo through your veins, arteries, and veins. Imagine that. Tune into the heartbeat in your toes, in your fingertips, in your head, in your full body. The blood pumps through the entire body, through all the arteries and all the veins, which means there is movement, there is a sensation that can be sensed throughout the entire body. So when you do that, what you're doing is you are tuning in to the love beat of your body, of your heartbeat. So I was talking with somebody recently, and they were saying how it was difficult at times to actually feel their heartbeat, which can happen. I've experienced that too. That's just a weakened attunement to one's own heartbeat. But if you really wanted to, and you gave yourself the awareness to feel and sense your heartbeat, you can feel it throughout your entire body.
Did you know that it kind of seems like your heartbeats are in the same exact rhythm, but they're not?
What you mean, like from here to like your leg or something?
No, no, no. I mean like the heartbeats that it is in always that the seconds in between the heartbeats is always the same distance, but it's not.
No, yeah, heart rate variability.
Yeah,
You
interesting.
want some variability.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
It's
interesting.
like the heart's dance, it
Yeah.
switches it up a little bit.
Yeah, and the variability tells you about your fitness, right? Your health,
Yeah, it does.
like how the heart can adjust and adapt.
Yeah.
Very interesting insight.
Yeah, it is. I'm unfamiliar with the science behind it, but I do know it's very important.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's really it. And so going back to the simplicity versus the ease, it's easy, or let me rephrase. It's simple, but it's not easy because of the neurons being attached. A book written by Bessel van der Kolk called "The Body Keeps the Score."
Love
He
it.
said, "Love it, great book, right?" He says that the body's number one um, mechanism for survivability is staying with what's familiar. Even familiar thought, familiar neural structure, any change is
Familiar,
scary.
familiar bad feelings sometimes feel better than new good feelings.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So taking that concept and applying it to neurons, we are we are so scared of change, especially changing neurons. That's identity. That's
So some people stay in toxic relationships because of that.
exactly, yeah. If they grew up in an abusive household, they're more likely to attach themselves in a relationship that's abusive. Um. Anyway, like the whole point of that is what makes it difficult is this attachment to neural structure. Some of this bleeds over into psychedelic experiences where people have what's called ego deaths. That's because their neurons are so plastic or neuroplasticity. They're moving around so much. Their identity is literally shifting in structure. Neural structure contributes to identity, and so shifting that is scary as fuck because of the whole familiarity thing.
You said attachment so many times today. I have read it this morning again. And can you read this? Like, can you actually see it?
Yes,
The domestication,
domestication. Yeah, dream of the
domestication. Can
planet.
you read
Yeah,
it?
the primary system of control and the dream of the planet. Starting when we are very young, we are presented with either a reward or a punishment for adopting the beliefs and behaviors of what others find acceptable. When we adopt these beliefs and behaviors as a result of either the reward or punishment, we can say we have been domesticated. Okay.
Interesting, huh? It's
Mm-hmm.
talking about the the two problems of domestication and attachment.
Mm-hmm. And what are
The
you what are what are you noticing about that?
attachment here is the following uh, definition.
Okay, attachment, the action of taking something that is not a part of you and making it a part of you through an emotional or energetic investment. You can attach to external objects, beliefs, ideas, and even roles you play in the world. I half agree with that. I think all things are part of you. Um, However, I would add to that and say that attachment is attaching to a very limited amount of parts of you and only those things. So, like, there is a part of me that is attached to being human and being a physical body. And there's a part of me that's attached to the type of music that I like and everything that I say. All of these belief systems I'm attached to, right? But at the end of the day, everything I say is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's not real. There aren't enough words. I'm trying my best to describe the experience I'm having in this body, but at the end of the day, I'm not even getting fucking close. I'm doing the best I can. We're all doing the best we can to try and describe this experience of being human, and it's not possible. It's not physically possible because we will die by the time we're actually able to describe it. Alan Watts says this when he's talking about Zen. He said, if you ask a Zen monk these types of philosophical questions, most of the time they're not going to say anything. They're going to ring a gong, boom, and that's it. The answer to the universe, boom. There aren't enough words to describe reality. It's too vast. It's too magnificent. It's too miraculous.
How can you sense that? Like, how can you notice this?
Well, look at all the struggles we have. Look at all the struggles, like people in communication, like you were mentioning yesterday, using one, you have a word, and we use the same words, sounds from our mouth, and it meaning two different things for us. I mean, technically, that's true for every single word in existence
Yeah.
because it's being spoken from two different sources.
Yes.
Everything is made up. All words are made up. A
That's
quote.
what he's saying down here, the bottom one.
Personal dream, the unique reality created by every individual, your personal perspective. It is the manifestation of the relationship between your mind and body. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Yeah, everything is relative. Everything is relative because of the whole, subject and object relationship.
Yeah. It is subjective, everything, the reality.
Yeah, which is why I like the video that you sent me yesterday talking about creating a meaning that's easy and allowing oneself to feel joy and happiness in the moment because I mean, ideally life would be easy. I mean, it can be. I want to experience joy and happiness now. I don't want to constantly seek meaning in order to generate this feeling that I have. It's readily available right here, right now. It beats against the inside of my chest every single fucking second. I'd rather feel that now and and be the dumbest person in the world than have all these wonderful words and symbols to represent the same exact experience that we're all having, which is existence.
Yeah, it's about acceptance because we humans as persons, uh, that's what Peter Crown also talks about, is that we are in the moment. We want we want more. We want something else. Most of the time, in our lives, we are in the future. We want something, and there we are again with presence. It's all about the presence, and that we as humans want to want to have something which is not in the now, and we're not accepting what is. And if we just simply would just accept what it is right now and detach from the expectations that we have for what we want for the future, um, it's not bad to want something, but um, we have to detach from it. That's the key, I think, because then you can happily live with what is in the present moment, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joe's really good at talking about that. Joe Dispenza, he talks about how we have a desire and we set an intention, and then we essentially let that go in a meditation. We let that go out into the universe, like you were just saying, detach from that, and then allow space for the universe to cultivate that for us, or create an opportunity for us to create it. I really like that. It's almost like those balloons, you know. I think it's in Japanese culture where they write an intention or a wish or something like that, and they put it in a flame balloon and they let it go. It's kind of like that, you know. You have an intention, you have a wish or whatever it is, a desire, and then you let it go
Yeah.
and detach from it, and and then set yourself up as a receiver to receive that from the universe.
Yeah. And Peter Crown, I would say he was talking basically about the ego and yeah, and one more um one more term here in this book which fits pretty well is because the ego puts conditions to a certain emotion. So to feel this, da 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 has to exist or have to come to into existence, and he puts it very well here. He calls it the parasite. Look at that one.
Parasite, the voice of the narrator when it uses your beliefs formed through domestication and attachment to hold power over you by placing conditions on your self love and self acceptance. This negative voice causes sadness, anxiety, and fear. Yeah, that
Those,
internal dialogue.
yeah, which is like, uh, yeah, a dialogue from the parasite, from the ego, whatever you want to call it, and this is what causes suffering, right? Like sadness, anxiety, fear. Those are not necessarily things you have to get rid of, but they are not necessary for long term, like suffering. You don't have to indulge into pain. Like pain is normal, it's part of life, but the suffering is a choice. And then again, the conditions for self-love, which we also talked about, self-love is like the basis for a happy life or a fulfilled life or a comfortable life, whatever you're striving for. But if you put conditions on it instead of detachment, then that is basically why we get into suffering, right? Um,
Yeah. Buddhists talk about that. They say that um, the source of all suffering is desire, and the only way to completely eradicate suffering is to completely eradicate desire. But that's a conundrum because the desire to let go of desire is a desire. So,
yet I don't think you have to get rid of it. I think you have to detach.
well, I think you got to develop a healthy relationship with it.
Yes, that's what I mean with detachment. Yes, having a good relationship with it.
Yeah.
Expecting not only good feelings in life, because they both spectrums are part of our life, the good and the bad, and to expect them both to show up. I think to have the expectations and to have the detachment from only having the good and the pleasure, and I think, as you said, this is just creating a beautiful relationship with it, and accepting that it is. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. My ideal perception of existence is overlaying or merging pain and pleasure at the same time. So like imagine you're experiencing some form of pain while also experiencing pleasure at the same time. For me, like as I'm trying to fathom the monk that set himself on fire, the only thing that I can possibly like think to understand how that's possible is there must have been a merge of pain and pleasure in that moment. You know, like so I imagine God consciousness aware of all things simultaneously, right? God being aware of pain in the world and in the universe, and also being aware of pleasure in the universe, and then overlaying those two at the same time. So like imagine your arm getting cut off and writhing in pain while also going, oh wow, and like ecstasy, you know? I don't ever want to even test that, but that's how I that's like the level that's like the level of consciousness that I imagine there being a potential for.
So, what are we talking about? It is that with all those philosoph
Philosophies.
yeah, philosophical thoughts and ideas and yeah, ideas. Um, so how can this help a human in daily life to live life on their terms, whatever that is? Like, so. to break it down. Like, why are we talking this?
Because these philosophies ideally would empower somebody. Like the Buddhist monks, their practices, their abilities, any human being can strive for that and experience those experiences. Now, whether or not we want to devote our lives to all of that time doesn't really matter. At least at the end of the day, we know that we're living in this new age world. At the end of the day, we are empowered to feel however it is that we want to feel. And if we want to feel it in a meditation or a breath work, we can do that. Or if we want to go out and have an experience to generate an external experience that generate that feeling, that's fine too. It's okay. The external is simply a reflection of the internal and vice versa. So it just depends on our willingness to experience whatever it is that we want. Some people are like, "Oh, I can only experience pleasure with porn and sex." Okay, if that's what you believe, then yeah, you can do that. But there's a lot of people out there that can experience pleasure, sexual pleasure, without porn and without sex and without masturbation. Think about that. Think about having an orgasm without touching yourself. That's a big pill to swallow for some people, especially if they're addicted to sex and porn and if they're watching it all the fucking time. But it's possible because people do it all the fucking time. I've done it many times. I've had full body orgasms without touching myself. Breathwork and meditation. So
That's a good cliffhanger for the next episode. Will you teach us the secret to do that?
I mean, it kind of happens sporadically for me, I have to really commit myself to that,
Yeah, don't
and
spoil.
and
Don't
and
spoil it.
I have to detach from the desire to orgasm.
Now you spoiled it. Yes,
But it's
bro.
possible. Some people devote their lives to this and they have quite an enjoyable life. I don't think you have to devote so much time. I think it's a lot easier than people think.
Yeah, we had it. We talked about this today. Like we said it already. Like life can be so simple, but
Yeah.
it's not easy.
Yeah. It's simple but not easy. And again, it's just neuroplasticity. That's it. That's it. All the stories, all the words that we use, everything that we're saying right now, it's only being said because of the neural structure that I have. If I had a different neural structure, I'd be saying different things, talking about the same thing. That's all it is. Rearranging neurons. The easiest way to do that, emotion, energy in motion, connecting with the heart, feeling that energy in motion, spreading through your body, pleasure, enjoying that. Yeah.
I love it. Man, here it's 9:30. I have to go to bed.
Yes. Yes. Get some good sleep. Your body wants it and deserves it.
Yes, it was a pleasure, man.
Absolutely.
It doesn't feel like going to bed now because after our conversations, are always like, all right, what can I conquer now with my energy? With
Yeah, I
my
know. I
energy.
feel I feel energized. I want to go outside and run,
Yeah, yeah,
even
you
though I
can
just
do it.
slept.
You can do it. What time is it?
It's only 1:30 here.
1:30.
Yeah.
Nice,
13:30.
nice.
All right, brother. Well, hey, good rest, good sleep. Enjoy those dreams, and we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, man, for sure. That was a good run.
It was, yeah, very good run. We could even keep going, but you're right. Let's save it. Let's
Yeah,
save it for another one.
yeah, for sure. 100%. Let's Yeah, let's put it in the daily life so that it is actually um, uh, practical, like possible, realistic, you know. Like
Yes.
tomorrow's Monday, it's gonna be crazy.
Why is that? Why is Monday gonna be crazy?
Oh, my list of things that I want to do is so long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well then, yeah, you need to get some sleep, dude.
I need some good rest. Need to need to get some good score on my tracking and then yeah, wake up energized and vitalized.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right,
Yes.
brother. Well, sweet dreams. Good night.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.
Take
And
care.
we'll talk soon.
Yes, man.
Peace.
Soon.